Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth for today's show.
Good evening. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show. My name is Rox Burkey, your hostess this evening, and I am delighted because I have a wonderful author that I know and have admired for a long time, Mary Ann Faremouth. Great to see you. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Rox. Happy New Year to you too. It's great to see you as well.
So I'm excited to talk about your book because I'm telling you, with the year that we have just gone through and the new one coming up, this is a book that will help so many people. So let's talk about your Revolutionary Reinvention Workbook. Tell me about it.
Well, Revolutionary Reinvention was born because of all the different comments and concerns I've gotten during the pandemic from all the candidates and employers that I work with. I'm an executive recruiter, have been for over 25 years. And this year, Rox, so many people have lost their jobs, had salary cuts, been laid off, been furloughed, and the whole work world is a new work world. And so I thought I wrote this book because I thought that it would help people learn how to manage their careers in this new work world, in this new normal that we have in the world now. And so it's a companion to the first book. The first book's called Revolutionary Recruiting. In the first book, I have a 5-step method. And the second book, Revolutionary Reinvention, takes the 5-step method and extrapolates it and really helps the candidate or the employer or the recruiter go through a series of questions to find out who they are, who they need to reinvent themselves to become so that they can have a much better stance in the new work world. And that's why I wrote it.
You know, I think it's amazing because one of the things that this workbook really helps someone focus on and get kind of level set with is discovering what their skills really are. You know, some people who were laid off had been in a job for a number of years. They really hadn't assessed their skills. Heaven knows they hadn't looked at their passions. And so this reinvention that you're focusing on really kind of is an assessment, a personal assessment on where you are, the journey of where you want to go. I thought it was absolutely remarkable. I mean, it released just at the end of 2020. And so as a companion book, can it be used alone or does it need to have your original book with it?
No, it can be used. No, Rox, and you exactly nailed it, why I wrote it and what it's about, but it does not have to be used with the first book. It can be a standalone book. Now, the first book really actually is more my wisdom as a recruiter with case studies. But this book is tapping into the person's wisdom. And exactly what you said, it's about having that person get into alignment with who they are. It's your personal assessment, your professional assessment too. But you and I, Rox, both know that we really have to be in alignment with who we are and know what our passions are to really be able to fit into that right career, don't you think?
Oh, no, I do.
That's what this workbook does.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me because some people are being forced to reinvent themselves because the job market is just that way. Other people need to look at it, I think, and you can correct me, but I think it's an opportunity to try something different, to expand your horizons. Does it work both ways?
It does. It does. I think what you said, though, is so true because sometimes it's the darkest before the dawn. And sometimes in our darkest moments is when we were able to appreciate the light and see the light. I know some of the very famous people, you know, William Shakespeare, Rox, he wrote his best play during the plague. So many other people too have you know, Uber and what is the other thing with instead of going to a hotel, Airbnb.
Yeah.
These wonderful inventions were done at a time in 2008, those two, when the market was down. And these two people that invented these things looked at a need. So this is exactly right. During these times of the pandemic or during times of strife and struggle, people are forced, and sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, it's a good thing. Because sometimes when you have the opportunity, like you said, to really reevaluate is when you can discover things about yourself you didn't even know existed. And what a great opportunity that is. And that's what this workbook helps you do.
You know, I know that you started out and you mentioned that you have been a recruiter for a number of years. And I can respect that and appreciate that. I have a wee bit of that in my history. But you're not just a recruiter these days. Your expertise has gone from recruiting for the job market, but you're also a consultant on both sides of the whole formula, because explain the hiring formula to our listeners. It's
the hiring formula has changed significantly. All right. Yeah. The way we got a job before the pre-pandemic is totally different than now. Totally different. Right. You had a little experience as a recruiter. We talked about this briefly. You know, for so many years and up until just February, you sent a resume in, you went into interview, you talked to the recruiter, you talked to the person in, you know, the department, you sent a thank you note, and you either got the job or you didn't. Now it's totally different. Now you have to make sure the resume has the right word search to match the algorithms, all right, because everything's digital now. So the way the resume reads, first of all, is the crucial step. The second step is you have to interview online. And if you don't interview online correctly, the lighting's not right, you know, if you have a big mess around you when you're interviewing and the employer sees that, you're going to be eliminated. And then you have to really know to present yourself in a way, not look how wonderful I am, but let me tell you what I can do. Let me tell you what my skill set can do to contribute to your bottom line, right? It's different because not only are we, the people, the recruiters, the candidates, the employers hurting, right? The companies themselves are struggling. And so they need to make sure they're going to hire someone that's going to be a benefit, that's going to be a contributory force, not just someone who's got all these degrees and accomplishments, but it's now also more about attitude, right? You have to present yourself in a way that, you know, maybe this other duty that you need here is not in my job description, but you know what? You need it done, so I'm going to do it. If you present yourself that way in this new work world, you have so much more of an advantage. But people don't know that because for so many years they've been doing it one way. This book tells you how to do it for now.
You know, it's the real value add, and your value add comes from a whole different sort of presentation. So, you know, our world now is full of Zoom and conference calls and video everything. And, you know, I personally am old school. I've been in the work world for a long time, and I don't appreciate having a kitty cat walk across the camera. And I can imagine when you're doing an interview with someone, having your cat jump on the keyboard because it's what they do every single day. It's unprofessional, one, but it's also a distraction. So does this workbook help you avoid those kinds of distractions too, or do you help that from a counseling perspective?
Well, the workbook goes into how to present yourself, but the counseling aspect gets more fine-tuned to, you know, what is your skill set? Who are you interviewing with? And what's the best way for you to do it? Because Rox, an accountant is going to interview successfully in a different way than a marketing person is or an IT person is. And so the workbook identifies what is your skill set, and then we work together on how do we present it to our advantage.
There you go. There you go. Now, the consultant side of you, I really want to delve into a little bit, but maybe not until the next segment. But it's important that the hiring authority articulates very clearly what they want when you're helping to support a recruit. And you convey that to the recruit, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do. And they can't get that online, all right? Now, online is a very, very important step in the process these days, and a lot of companies are choosing to go that route. The challenge with that route is you don't have as much information as you would with a recruiter or a consultant to help you really present yourself in the way that's to your best advantage. And that's the difference.
So we're going to take a short break here and listen to our sponsors, and I want to come back and talk a little bit more about the consultant side of this and how you really help support your customers.
Great. Thank you, Rox.
Yep, stick around.
Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-owned company where authors can learn how to better market and sell their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com.
Factor 7, the newest thriller by author J.D. May, will keep you turning the pages with mystery, betrayal, lies, and infidelity. Ripped from the headlines, Factor 7 follows two prominent doctors who uncover a clandestine plot to spread a bioweapon with a 98% mortality rate. Journey with them as they experience a world of murder, power, intrigue, and corruption, where it becomes deadly clear that exposing the truth is just as dangerous as the weapon they seek to expose.
Do you send book sales to a company that takes most of your money? Do you want a bookstore that supports you? Want to earn more money from your book sales? Introducing a bookstore for indie authors and small press only. Earn up to 80% of your book sales and learn how to better market yourself. Join the 150 authors already signed up to earn their fair share at b4r.store.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story, and then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Ann Faremouth for today's show.
And welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show. I'm here this evening with a lady that I'm telling you, she is an expert in working with clients that are looking for work, working with clients that are looking to hire people. Ann Faremouth is here with me, and she has a brand new book that came out on December 30th of 2020, Revolutionary Reinvention Workbook. And we kind of talked about that in the first segment. But Ann has been doing this for a long time. And you're really, these days, more of a consultant, right? So how do you help a customer who's looking to hire someone?
A customer calls me and essentially tells me what is the goal that they have in the position. And then we strategically discuss, what is the best course of action? Do we really need somebody with 10 years experience? Maybe we can find somebody with 5 years experience that's worked some internships, that really has a passion to do this job, that really wants to come in and really give 150%. So I work with them on, let's identify what is the main goal here, and then what's the best way for us to accomplish it. And let's look at the person. Sometimes, Rox, a resume, a reference, that's important, but sometimes that really doesn't describe what the person's about or who they are, or what they can contribute. And I think also these days, having the right fit with the person, to work with the team, to work with the companies, to understand the products, all those things I think are more important now than ever, because people can't afford to make mistakes. People can't afford to make bad hires or hire someone who's going to come in and only do an okay job. They want stars. They want stellar performers, because everything's so competitive and challenging right now.
So when you talk to candidates and you talk to employers, actually, is the work from home proven ability or capability part of your discussion now? Because that's very different.
Yes.
Than the workforce going into the office. So has that been woven into?
Oh, yes. Okay. That is very, very important. In fact, I have a client right now that has a job in Austin, by the way, and he's trying to decide if this particular person, supply chain person, needs to be in Austin or and come to the office occasionally, or if it can all be done remotely. And so much of it depends upon, is there a warehouse there? Do they have to manage other people? But, clients are just kind of unsettled right now with this online situation, because it's so different. But I don't think it's going away, Rox. I think this online thing, for a lot of reasons, is going to stay, don't you?
Oh, I do. Remote workers is as they say today, which I don't like the term, but it's there, and that's the new norm. It is something that we have to face a reality on. Some people I know don't have, I guess, the wherewithal, the commitment to work from home and be effective, though. Some people are just not adapting well to that. They need that separation of work and home. And so I there's a struggle there, I think, for some
I think
people.
you're right. I think one of the big variables in that mix is that the people that are working from home have an ability, and their employers need to know this, where there's frequent Zoom meetings with other team members. But in some ways, Rox, this virtual online platform has opened us up to having the ability to interface with international people and get another aspect of work that is, I think, kind of jazzy, to know that you have the ability now to talk to your affiliate, maybe in London, or your affiliate in England, or your affiliate wherever. And you know I take a lot of classes, writing classes, and in our writing class, I was introduced to a person from Australia, and I would have never met her if I had a class in Houston. You know what I mean? So in some ways, there's an advantage of a more of a different mix now, or a different ingredient that gives us more, I think, sizzle to what we do. And I think if we can look at that as a benefit and not a negative, I think we can maybe appreciate the online experience, although it's still a big struggle.
Well, it can be. I mean, certainly if you're going to be on video every day, it's important that you do get up, you still put your makeup on, or do your hair, or, you know, all of the things, at least from the waist up, right? You can wear your fuzzy house shoes, but
Right.
but you need to kind of keep it. Now, let's take this conversation now and go back into your workbook. So when I'm going through, as an example, and I probably would struggle trying to list my skills because, you know, they're kind of muddied throughout the years. Is there a good approach in this workbook so that someone who was in a job for 10 years can go through here and really pull out of themselves those skills and those passions without being so self-conscious? Because
Yes,
I look at it and it's kind of scary.
it is scary, but it's written in a way that makes it kind of fun. It's written in a way that's like a self-inventory, and its questions that are asked aren't, well, tell me what right now your skill set. No, it's more like, let's go back to when you were in high school. What did you really enjoy? What were the classes you enjoyed? What hobbies did you enjoy? So it's taking you back on a journey in your past to investigate your likes, your dislikes, where you were successful, where you weren't, you know, what things you really were proud of, what things maybe you weren't so proud of. But it's done in a way, ask questions in a way that helps the reader, helps the person really see the patterns, or see maybe how we've changed. Maybe 10 years ago, you know, you really didn't want to be around that many people. But maybe now, maybe you like the interaction, or you like having people that you get to meet in other countries. So it's a method that isn't real dictatorial. It's a method that takes you on a journey. And in some ways, I ask crazy questions, like, if you had a magic wand and you could wave that wand and you could be anything you wanted to be, what would you be? And believe me, Rox, the information we get from that is really important, because if somebody tells me, you know, I want to be on a stage and I really want to be a performer, well, that tells me the last thing I'm going to do is put them in an accounting job, or a job that's no people contact or too analytical. They're going to hate that, because if that's what they would love to do, then that part of that answer tells me something. Does that make any sense?
Oh, it's perfect. And so I see this workbook as being valuable to the people that purchase it in two totally different ways. And let's see how close I am, okay?
Okay.
I see it valuable if they do the workbook and go through it and are very diligent, and then work with you as a consultant. But I also see them doing it and then having that value add to take with them on down the rest of their career journey.
Exactly.
Is that?
Yes. And, you know, it reminds me of a segment that Alan offered at one time for writers. And, you know, years ago, we talked about this. I did it in a podcast. But, you know, years ago, as a young girl, we would write in our journal. We would write in our journal, Rox, to kind of reflect on what happened. we
Yeah.
can look at that same aspect here in this workbook. But
Oh,
also what I'm going to be doing this year, probably the first one will be in February, is I'm going to be offering online classes where we work together with the workbook. All right.
oh,
And
nice.
so that's something that I do have on the agenda.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So is that like a group class?
Yes.
Or is that like a one-on-one thing with people kind of segmented a little bit?
We're probably going to do both.
Okay.
We're probably going to do a group class and offer that. But then we will offer some individual customized one-on-one consulting, and maybe do it over 3 or 4 weekends or something, because it goes through the 5 steps. And I don't know that you could do everything. You can't do everything in 1 hour. But so yeah, there's going to be 2 different ways: one-on-one, and then more of a group approach. And then sometimes if somebody does the group and they need a little bit more, one-on-one, we can do that as well.
Oh, I think that's awesome. So, this is going so fast, Marianne. We need to take another short break to hear from our sponsors. So when we come back, let's talk about some more about where you can be found and those kinds of things. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Rox.
Thank you.
Lone Star Festival, where Texas authors, artists, and creatives come together for a Texas-sized event. Join us on May 29, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Seguin Coliseum, Seguin, Texas. Free for everyone. Produced by Texas Authors Institute of History. Sponsored by B4R.store, Authors Marketing Guild, and the City of Seguin. More information at lonestar.bookfestival.network.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Join us for the 6th Annual Authors Marketing Event in Granbury, Texas on July 23rd to the 25th, 2021, where authors share ideas and learn from the professionals over a 2-day weekend. Receive your book marketing certification from the only organization in the world that has been doing it for 5 years, Authors Marketing Guild, a membership-based organization that supports authors from around the world. Learn more at ame.authorsmarketingguild.com. Sponsored by indielector.store, a bookstore that pays authors their fair share. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on any major podcast system, Amazon TV, and YouTube. Join Ann Faremouth for today's show.
Yes. Welcome back to Indie Beacon Show. I'm Rox Burkey, your host tonight, and I am so excited to be able to have Ann Faremouth here. We have had so much fun talking about Revolutionary Reinvention Workbook, especially for people that are job hungry. So this is wonderful. So welcome back.
Thank you, Rox. It's great to be back.
All right, so now I want to focus on this segment for a couple of things. I really liked the idea that you were going to start offering classes, either group or one-on-one. When do you plan to have those available, and how can I find out about them?
Well, the first one probably will be available in the beginning of February, and they'll be advertised all over social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, all over, and pretty much that way. Also, I have a website, faremouth.com, and there'll be ways to sign up for them and information about those on my website. And essentially, those are 2 areas: social media and, of course, my website.
Okay, so faremouth.com, just in case people don't remember, is FAREMOUTH.com, right?
Yes, yes.
Super. Okay, so are these classes going to be something that people can just sign up for? Are they subscription? Are they something you're going to charge for? I would assume that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There might be a little trailer or a little, mini little webinar that gives you a little taste of what's going to come. That'll be a no charge kind of a presentation, just to see, what it's about. But
Okay.
the actual classes where I'm going to really work with the the people in the groups and also individually, yes, there'll be a charge for that. It's not going to be a lot of big charge, but it'll be a charge that certainly will be worth it.
Early in our conversation, we kind of spoke about the actual hiring authorities and things that they want, how to state their goals correctly, and how to kind of outline the kind of people that they want. Are you going to offer some workshops for hiring authorities, especially brand new ones, so they know how to even define some of this?
Yes. All the clients that I've worked with, and I'm a national recruiter, I'm going to let them know about the workbook, and also that, hiring is different now, and what they need to look for is got to come across in a different way for their own benefit. And so we will offer classes and seminars for those clients, those large companies and mid-sized companies as well. Yes.
So my focus in my professional life right now, Marianne, is in customer experience and workforce experience. So this whole year is, the whole last 12 months have been just insane from that regard. But one of the complaints I'm hearing a lot of is training for new hires or reskilling some of the new hires, and they're worried about it and they don't know how to ask their employers about that. So is that an area that you would help coach some of the hiring authorities?
Certainly. And the laws have changed a lot, Rox. There are certain questions people are not allowed to ask that they've asked for years. And there's a legal there's a liability if they ask these questions. And a lot of HR people, don't know that. And so I can certainly educate them in areas for their own protection to make sure when they are conducting the interviews, they're asking the right questions that are within the parameters of the legal rights right now. And I think that, employers would benefit from that. So yes, I can certainly offer those services as well.
Oh, I think that's awesome, because I agree. People need to all get their skills up to snuff. It's harder when you can't just, stand up and look over the cubicle and go, hey, buddy, what do I do now? It's just different. Okay, that's good. So you have classes coming up. Now, I know that you're an author. You have your 5-step book that came out previous to the workbook right now. Are you planning on attending any author events?
Oh, yes. I have benefited so much, Rox, from Authors Marketing Guild events. And I certainly I'll be at the Seguin. I will certainly be at the one in Granbury. I think the Authors Marketing events are wonderful learning experiences, and I've gotten so much good information. So yes, I will be at all of those. And I'm looking forward to that. I think those events are just so beneficial.
And that brings up a great point. So is your workbook and your book available today on B4R Store?
Yes, it is. It is certainly available there, as well as Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble, and on my website.
Well, there you go. And what was that website again?
Faremouth.com.
Now, when people reach out to you, and this is going to be my last question, can they reach out on your website via email, and do you respond, or you let them go into that dark hole?
Oh, no. If somebody goes to my website and sends me an email, I get it immediately and I respond within 24 hours. So it doesn't go in a dark hole. So whatever your concern is, whatever your question is, whatever your thoughts are, I will respond, and it won't be a big delay in the response.
Perfect tool book for people that are looking for work, looking to change. The Revolutionary Reinvention Workbook by Ann Faremouth. And you've gotten awards for this. Congratulations.
Thank you, Rox.
Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to talking with you again.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Rox. It's always a delight to be with the award-winning author, Rox. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for watching the Indie Beacon shows, produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing Guild, LLC, copyright 2021. Voiceover by Randy James and B. Allen Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of this show, please reach out to us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. If you'd like to be on the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music is Always Rejoice by Ramport of Ukraine.